So I've got my tracks lined up here, and I want to check out everything before I start actually doing a real mix, or I want to do automation next. So I've got plugins going on, and in Luna, I like to do a check of everything pretty much. So first of all, I want to check the track out, check my levels here on the monitor. So here, my main output. This has plenty of headroom. That's good. So now what I want to do is clean it up and make sure I got a good look here. So if you're not familiar with it, you should get more familiar with the front of the software here, this part of the console, and also this section here back here, which is my timeline. So I got all my samples here, not just samples, but tracks I've dumped in here. You can also stretch this out like this to see it better than that, pull it out more, see more what's going on with that entire track of the timeline. I'll see the wraps here, or warp, right here. Here's automation information too as well. It's all right here. I can just click one track, go back to here, just grab that track right there. Everything's grabbed, right? So I clicked right to here. Now, why is everything grabbing hold of it? So when I go back to here, we'll see here on the bottom that I have all tracks selected. So I'll come to here. I'll leave that. I hit one track now, and now that track is selected, or that group is selected. Pretty good. I have groups. I keep my groups going on here. There's a group for the drums, piano, bass, and vibe. Now, what I do here is to organize everything and look at everything I have structured on my mixing console. And I want to come here and do one thing, clean this place up. So you can go right here and do this easily from View. I go to View here, and I can get rid of the monitor on the right-hand side. This is my monitor here. Extensions, inserts, all processing, and mute. And this is output, right? If I play back this, put the tracks back. Let's go back to here from the top. And press playback. I'll come to here. Right, now if I put it doesn't affect my main out. It's the monitors, my speaker monitor. The output I'm hearing back. Stop that. And you can see here it doesn't affect the main. This is just the output monitor. So I'm not worried about that. I want to get a good level first of all. I want to hear it back first. That's good for me. So now I'll go back to View and I will stop the monitor. Actually remove it. Then here I have info. Info's down here. So I check my info. I'm going to be at 48 hertz. Perfect for me. And then 512 is a buffer size. Why I pick 48? Because I don't want no aliasing going on here. So I want to make sure it's 48 and a 32-bit float when I'm actually going to do a mix down and send the output out. So that's great. So I'll go to here now. I'm going to say, get rid of that. So I don't need to see that. I already know what it is. And next I have the navigation. Navigation is right here. I can navigate to, say, the console. It's the console area. Up here is utility and inputs and tape. Now the tape signifies a tape machine. So a Studer A800. That's a 2-inch tape machine. Like they had in the old days. It'd be a 2-inch tape. You run tape. The reason why we like using Luna is because it gives you a nice warm tape sound like the old days. And also it's still digital, but it has a really great sound that I really enjoy hearing. And I think most of us all do, which is why this has become a very popular software over the years. And Universal Audio is known for taking really old, classic, best gear and getting it to sound the same way in the digital world. So we love it. And so this is going through a Studer. And so below here we have the console. So here we got inserts, of course. We got sends, right? And we're in our console section below here. So here you'll see this, the console. It says console there. Like you see on a mixing board. And here I can change it using the API 2000 mixing board. I can change it from any type I want to change it to. from here or to this type, either way. This is parametric right here. Okay, so you'll see that pretty quickly. Now next I have inserts. I can insert all kinds of effects. Here, for example, this would be my Studer tape machine. Oxide tape, this is how it would look in this case, like this. As I play, you will hear it through tape. It's playing from the repo tape, the reproduction of the sound from the tape. I have certain settings I use. In this case, I'm using a 15 inches per second. My EQ is NAB, N-A-B. And here we have noise reduction on. Here's the input and here's the output. Okay? Now, I want you to notice something too. What I've got going on here essentially is I have the oxide tape is the first insert in everywhere in the mixing console, except for example, this is a bass bus here. But when I have instruments in there, I make sure I have the oxide tape there. So the vibes here, you see all these instruments I have here have the oxide tape there. And this oxide tape would represent that Studer A800, giving that warm sound to the overall mix. Now also at the same time, I've got some effects here. Like normally you'll see an EQ and then you'll see some sort of compression on the mixing console. And you see it right here. This is an EQ right here, right? And I'll put my compression down here in this insert section. I could do that as well. And I'll add some here as I go along, depending on the sound I have and what I want to use. So here you'll see, for example, here's Studer. I'll come to here. I have a Hitsville EQ. And here I've got an LA2A. This is Teltronic. This is a compressor. Set the compressor here. It could be a limiter too as well. These are my settings right here. Gain reduction, and you see the power is on. This is a very popular a very popular compressor limiter, and it sounds really great in a lot of different instruments. Of course, you can get a bunch of different effects. You'll see right here, these are made up, of course, by some professionals, and of course, the guys at UAD make sure it sounds great, and it does. Love it. Love UAD plugins, actually. And I'll go to here, close that out. So these are my inserts right here, and the rest is my console. So what I want to do is I'm going to get rid of this navigation. That's cool. I know what I want to see. Now, I want to come to here and get rid of that. So I'll go to here, and I'll get rid of the browser. And now I've got a full console to look at. This is great. And of course, this little thing on top of here, I can scroll from one side to the other side and see where I'm at inside of my mix, like I was in a recording studio. I'm in a chair, rolling from one side to the other, but here I'm on my computer, so it makes it easier. And you can see all the effects I've got lined up here, different outputs. Here's my output for the main output right here, you know. I've got 4 different effects right here. I got an SSL-G compressor, a Hitsville EQ right here. I got an ozone imager to make the mix wider. I also have another tape right here, which is the final tape, which is the ATR 102 from Ampex. And we would use this tape machine like this. We put tape on here, we would record people, and that's how it works. A lot of stuff you've heard does this, and some guys still use this today. And some of these recordings are great. If you've been sampling, you know the deal. So, I'm using this here. It sounds great inside this system. I do recommend it totally. And so while I'm here in Luna doing this, I'm also setting up, looking at all my outputs and stuff. And okay, right here, before I start actually doing automation, I want to get up to here and say, well, look, I got effects here too, right? So I want to see these effects. They're all here, know what they all are. And there's a reverb, piano reverb here. That reverb is actually a drum verb I'm using. I should actually label that one there and call it a drum verse, the verb right here, right? I'm going to come to here and just going to say this is drum verb. I only want to have a certain kind of verb for the drums. And I'll pop it in there. And see it changed right here, the name changed right here. Awesome. Easy. I know what it is. The drum verb, the delay I'm going to use, guitar verb. Great. Everything's labeled for me. Fantastic. Now, sometimes when I'm automating, I would like to see other parameters and automate some of these effects. So I can come to here. I can automate it big. I see bigger. I can do fast automation. I come to here, do this, click this, perfect. Move it up a little bit. I can get some idea of what's going on, right? That's just for the first one. I got my second send and my third send right here, so I can see the console like I would normally see it in a recording studio. It's kind of big in a studio, you know that already. And you can see it really wide here, which is great here in Luna. This is why I sort of love Luna. I can also see my outputs. For example, all my drums are right here, but they're being sent to the drum bus right here. As I play my drums, they're all in groups.